Scroll Toyota, leading the way every day. And Scroll Toyota, symbols of trust.
69 years ago, during World War II, roughly 100 Chamorro men and women from the villages of Agate and Sumai were ripped from their families and taken to the FENA River Valley. Here they were forced to work for the Japanese soldiers. They helped do things like clear jungle and cook, until one day they were tricked into a cave in FENA on July 23rd and executed.
I can bet you that every one of them was saying, "O Sina, O Sina, O Father." Probably saying, "Dispensa siha sa timatungo hafamasotsotu." Forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Some of the men and women in FENA managed to escape, and others survived until U.S. Marines were able to take control of the area. According to accounts from some survivors, the men and women were given sake and food and told to enter caves at FENA as part of a celebration the Japanese were having for all of their hard work. Once inside the caves, they were killed with grenades and bayonets, but some survived by hiding under the bodies of the deceased.
My father, Pedro Fresido Cruz, was the victim of the FENA massacre. His three brothers, Juan, Jose, and Joaquin of Fresido Cruz, were listed as survivors of the massacre. We belong to the Godgohu clan, and FENA is our ancestral land. My grandfather, Pedro Castro Cruz, owned that part of FENA Valley where the FENA Dam is and its environs are presently situated.
However, Tamamoa, like many others, has no access to either her ancestral land in FENA or the infamous cave where her father was murdered. Today, Tamamoa and others were granted special access to the FENA cave. Here, they were able to pay their respects and offer a prayer for their deceased ancestors who perished in peril in this small cave 69 years ago.
On the first death anniversary of the victims of the FENA massacre, my Uncle Joe, Jose, led a patrol crew to the caves to bring out the remains of those victims. There was still guerrilla warfare after the war, so it took 1 whole year to bring the bones out from FENA cave. My father's body mummified and his remains remain intact. The rest of the victims had their bones carried out in small boxes. My dad was wrapped up and had to be carried out as a corpse. There was an all-night wake for the victims in the homes of their families. Their remains were carried in appropriate containers. My dad had to have a full-size coffin. We had long funeral entourage from one end of the village to the other end with loud weeping.
The remains of the FENA victims were eventually buried at this old agate cemetery.
The FENA caves remain a sacred trust to remind us of those who suffered and died there 69 years ago this July. The chances of us going to FENA depends on the powers that be, the weather, and the state of security alert the island's military bases are in.
Today, Tamamoa and others that participated in the memorial service were happy to be granted access to FENA.
As we close in on the day of our liberation, we dedicate today's ceremony to the lives of those that went before us. We remember them, we honor them, we love them. Our ancestors will be proud to know that they did not die in vain. 69 years later, we are even a stronger people, and more importantly, a forgiving people. We will always have courage. We will always have faith.